Hey guys, and welcome to a special edition of Our Stars in Stripes and Maple Syrup. We are with the ladies team today. We have Mary Corbin, Brianna Westrup, and then the semi-boss, Steph Libbey. Thank you for joining us today. Now, I'm going to start with Mary because her being world champion kickboxing, she frightens me a little bit. So, Mary, first question, and this came in from one of the members. Which gave you the bigger thrill, winning the world championship in kickboxing or scoring on your debut?
Probably scoring on my debut.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine that being a great day, but that as a team effort, I kind of would have gone with the solo thing, but hey, look. So what goes through your head? Obviously, you're a world champion. Like the question that I got is you defended your championship on a Saturday, you scored on the Sunday. The question was, are you actually a machine?
I train a lot. It's a lot of hard work.
Okay, so do you find that either one interferes with the other training, or have you managed to kind of find a happy medium now?
We've found it in the middle now. It was at the beginning, it was like mixing, but it's all right now.
And which gives you more joy? Kicking people's asses or scoring goals?
Probably scoring goals. Okay,
nice. Brianna, you just passed your 50th appearance for the team. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Is Sunderland now home? Obviously, is Sunderland now home? Obviously, you played for them up the road that we don't mention.
Yeah.
So do you now feel Sunderland is home where you want to kind of spend the rest of your career, or do you have other goals?
Yeah, no, I think it would be fantastic to stay here for, as long as, they want me and I want to be here. It's a bit of on both ends, but I think it's hard sometimes in the women's game to stay at a club for a long period of time. I feel like you see a lot of turnover with people going to different clubs, and that's, as much as I love football in the sense it allows you to travel and go to new places, I think there's something nice about feeling settled somewhere. And when you feel settled, you can perform better. I think when, you're kind of, if you're always on, let's say like 6-month contracts, you're like, am I going to be here? Am I not going to be here? You don't really feel like you can set roots down. But I really like the area. I really like the Northeast. And yeah, I have a lot of people that I care about up in this region. So it just makes me feel a lot more settled and makes me perform better on the pitch, I would like to say, because you just feel a bit more comfortable, more at ease in your personal life as well as your professional life.
All right, so Lyndon spent 15 years on and off at Sunderland. That's your target to beat.
Be playing for a while if I do that.
So Steph, we have you to thank for unearthing Mary. I understand that you were her PE teacher before you came to the club.
Yeah, so I had a dual career for quite a long time. I actually knew Mary when she was in primary school because I was a secondary school teacher. I think it's high schooling.
Well, I'm from Sunderland, so like I'm a Sunderland boy, so forget what the Americans and the Canadians call it.
For those in the audience, it's kind of those that are like 11 to 16, and I taught Mary for those 5 years, but I also knew her before then, because I did some football coaching in her primary school. So I've seen her footballing talents that she hasn't really used as much as a kickboxing up until probably recently. She went into, you were playing for boys for a long time, weren't you? You were playing boys football, and then she did some stuff in school for me, like year 10, which is like 14, 15. She was playing in the boys team still, and she was better than all of them. Carried that team a little bit, I think. And then you started women's when you were 16, because obviously she couldn't play boys anymore, and just played grassroots. And then, yeah, we kept in contact since leaving school. I actually also taught all of her other siblings, and her older sister trained to teach. So she's a PE teacher now.
Okay, so now our sister has to find the next Sunderland superstar.
Yeah, she does.
No pressure.
But yeah, she asked me to kind of keep tabs on Mary's kind of football, and her mum was sending me emails, and yeah, we just asked her to come in and trial for the PGA, and yeah, the rest a little bit of history. She's probably been a bit of a unique story, I think, in the women's game. There's now a long pathway for people to come into, and Mary's a little bit of an anomaly in that she's come in quite late, but is at a high level.
But let's admit, when it was what, Redcar girls you were playing for? You were banging them in for fun. Was it 32 goals in 18 games?
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody would have spotted you sooner or later with that kind of a record. So how do we get 32 goals out of you for the ladies?
I don't think she'd be playing for the ladies if she was scoring 32 goals at this level. I think someone big had come in for her, but
Well, by this time next season, you're going to be in the Premier League.
this is it, the WSL, yeah. She's Mary's probably one at the moment where we're working quite a lot with technically, tactically, because from a physical and athletic perspective, she is off the charts. She's for a footballer as well, like she has a lot of really good characteristics. So she's, to be fair to her, been really receptive to the work we've done with her, and obviously took her chances when she's come in the cup games. And I think it's shown a lot as well, like the trust we've given her when she came and played against Aston Villa. Like she started, yeah, and you know, there's some big names in that team. And to perform, I think it was the first couple of minutes, she absolutely rinsed their fullback. And I was like, oh, we're in for a good night. Because you always worry. You always worry if, you know, players that have come from those kind of backgrounds, but also haven't had that exposure and experience can manage, and she more than held her own in that game. So it was really pleasing.
And Mary, do you think that any of your opponents are slightly intimidated by you knowing that you're a world champion kickboxer, or do you think they ignore that?
I think it would depend if they know. I don't really put it out there, so.
What?
She doesn't wear her belt like to the ground, so
That's not what keeps her shots up during the game. I think to be a double threat like that, we have in America, we have some of the legends of the game have been baseball and football, and the Americans never stop talking about these guys. So I think we need to get Sky Sports and everybody else talking about the double threat we have up here in Sunderland. So let's talk about Sunderland. We're going to jump back over to Brianna. We've had two Californians playing for the club. Is Roker as nice as the California coast? I know that you and Lyndon are about 6 hours apart driving.
yeah.
So it's not as if you guys are right next door to each other, but are there other similarities?
I mean, I love being by like a body of water in general. I think there's something special about that. So I just love to hear the sound of the waves crashing. I can't lie and say that the weather is necessarily as nice as it is in California. But it is really nice to go along Roker, and a few of the girls have dogs and stuff. So even like if you go for a dog walk, there's tons of people out walking along the beach. And it is nice. It's just probably not as sunny as
Now you're
consistent.
Southern California, right?
Yeah, like Newport Beach, Orange County area.
Is that down by San Diego?
It's a little bit north of San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say like pretty unmatched, the beaches where I'm from. They're like, the sand is so nice, like it's not rocky, and it's pretty consistently warm year round. So it's hard to beat. You kind of have to go like to like Greece or something to rival that.
Yeah, I have that where I am now. So I live in Tampa. So we have year round warm weather. I don't think it dropped below 60 all year. So it was quite nice being out here. But yeah, I get what you're saying about wanting to live by the by an ocean body. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
So over to Steph. 2 games left. Knowing that if you win both of your games, you win the league. Are you talking about promotion in the dressing room yet?
I think it's probably the elephant in the room. We don't talk about it as a lot, but it's obviously a realistic goal now. And I think we'd be silly not to. But the one thing that I think the whole group has been really good at is sticking to our processes and, you know, taking each game as it is and treating each game the same. And actually, like, I feel like we're in a really good place to attack both of those games, even though we know we're coming up against, you know, tough opponents who are right up there with us. I think we've got a squad and a group of people that have worked together collectively and believe all the way along, even though a lot of people at the early part of the season probably thought it was a little bit of a fluke as to why we are where we are, but we've been consistent. We've been in amongst the pack for a long time, and yeah, it's exciting, and this is what you're involved for, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you want to be up there, you want to be competing, and I think it's testament to what a lot of people have done, both on and off the pitch, to why we're in this position, and you've got to enjoy it. This is why we're there, and we've just got to go and attack those 2 games, and what'll be at the end of it.
So I think while you're being a little bit humble, I think those of us who look on from the outside in, we look at the talent that Sunderland's produced over the years. We look at the fact that we got shortchanged when it came to the reorganization of the ladies' game. I think we should have been with one of those franchises from the start. And I don't think it's a surprise that you're knocking on the door to get back to that top flight level, to be playing at the highest level in the women's game.
Yeah,
And
I
hopefully
think
a couple of good results coming up.
I was just going to say, I think what's been probably maybe a little bit of an advantage for us is that a lot of people have maybe underestimated the local talent, as well as then the recruitment that we've done. And actually, like, we've gone a little bit under the radar, which has probably took a bit of pressure off, which is why it's been a bit of an elephant in the room that we've not really spoken about, because we weren't expected to be in this position. But now we're in it, of course, we're going to go after it.
Now, let's go ideal situation. You win the last 2 games, you're playing, sorry, flies in the house. You're playing in the top flight next season. Does the philosophy change as far as how you approach games against the big girls? Or do you just keep doing what you're doing?
I think we'll still have our own kind of style and way, and we don't really deviate a lot, even when we've played the bigger teams this season. We've just got to be really realistic about how much we'll potentially have the ball. But, you know, we're hoping to, if we're in those positions, we'll recruit well and again, be a competitive outfit. You know, that's the history of this football club. It always has been, men's and women's, that it's been competitive, but it's been, and this is Mel's philosophy right from the start when she's been in role, is that there will have an element of youth and they will be given a chance, but we'll mix it with the right blend of experience, but also good people that will nurture the group that we've got.
I must have fell asleep for some of those years when the men's team were competitive. I remember some years when we definitely weren't. But we saw the gap in the Conti Cup games against Villa and Chelsea, where there was definitely a gap there. Are you confident that you can close that gap and be competitive in the top flight?
I think so. I think you know, at the moment we're a hybrid model, and they're full-time professional athletes with a mix of international players. And if we get our recruitment right and we set the team up well, and we do the right things over pre-season, definitely, like, as a coaching staff and as the backroom staff, like, we have that full belief, along with the players that'll be with us along the ride. So yeah. So
I know that we have a mix of full-time and part-time players at the club right now. Does that create any friction amongst the girls, those who want to be full-time but aren't?
Not necessarily, from what I've witnessed. I mean, the playing group might say different, but I think, to be honest, the people that are probably in those positions have really embraced the model that we've gone with, and actually we've used it to our advantage, and they only miss like 1 session a week, really. And then in regards to content, it's not masses of content that they miss. So it's worked out really well. And I think, again, from a strategic perspective, because we're trying to grow naturally and be sustainable along the way as a club, that we've done it in the right way.
Okay, and Brianna and Mary, what would it mean to you ladies to be playing top flight against some of the biggest stars in the world?
Answer first. I'll answer. Yeah, I think, I know for myself, like, that's always definitely been a dream of mine. I grew up watching a lot of Premier League on, obviously, the men's side. The women's wasn't really obviously televised when I was younger. And it's always been something that's been an aspiration of mine to play in the UK, because I have family over here, and my mom's Scottish, so I have Scottish citizenship as well. And it's always been a dream of mine to play in the top flight in England, because, you have those big Premier League club names in there. So it's kind of funny. It's not necessarily like the NWSL was ever really my dream growing up, whereas I think probably a lot of American girls would dream about the NWSL now, with how much bigger it's gotten and how much investment there's been into it. So that would definitely be a massive achievement personally for me. I've always wanted to do that. And as a player, I've just always wanted to see how good I can be. And I don't think you can ever reach that if you don't play people better than you, or you're around people that are better than you. So I think it would be an environment that I would love to be in, and I would hope a lot of the girls would probably echo that, is they would love to be challenged every week by the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, etc. Knowing that these are some of the best players in the world, and to see if you can hang and see if you can get better by playing against them.
So speaking of the best players of the world, obviously you come from a land that's got a great heritage in women's football. Who were your footballing idols growing up?
Well, it would probably be Mia Hamm. She was the massive name growing up. She was on like everything. She was probably like the Alex Morgan of when I was growing up, really. So definitely her. Abby Wambach was huge. Probably more so Mia Hamm though. I'm pretty sure I had her poster on my wall at one point, as a lot of young girls did. But again, like that was only through the national team. That wasn't through professional at all. Like I only ever saw things when it was Olympics or World Cup years. So it's been a massive improvement in recent years that girls can actually support a club, a women's club, whether that be in their state or nearby, and see these huge names come into their cities. So
Well, let's give you the hypothetical. You're chosen to play for Scotland against the United States. Do you have split loyalties?
Probably a little bit, but I think, having, be called in for Scotland, I'd probably have to edge. I feel a bit more connected at this moment in time to my probably Scottish heritage. And yeah, like I never really got a look in the US national team, whereas I felt like I kind of was able to get a little bit of a look in for Scotland. So I'd probably have to edge them. They'd probably be the underdog as well. So everyone loves an underdog.
Okay. Marion, coming back to you, I know you seem uncomfortable with the questioning, so I apologize in advance. So you've had a meteoric rise. Obviously, you're on the precipice of playing in the top flight next season. Where do you think your ceiling is as far as the women's game is concerned?
At the minute, I'm just taking it step by step because
You went off screen.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think I'd be able to play for a big team. So I've just been taking it step by step. Obviously, joining from the start, it's getting better. So I'm just seeing what I can do at the minute.
And you think you've got it in you to play in the top flight?
I think if I take on board like everything that I've been told and stuff, then yeah.
Okay, and similar to the question I asked to Brianna, who were your footballing idols growing up? Well, you're still growing up, technically I am. But yeah. Who's pictured on your bedroom wall right now?
I haven't got no pictures on my wall.
That's not the thing anymore. It's don't do that anymore.
Is it not? Okay, I mean, my youngest is already 20, so it's like I've passed that.
I won't say I have any idols, but I watch Garnacho from Man U at the minute, obviously because he's around the same age, just seeing what he can do.
So we're expecting you to be the ladies Garnacho, yeah?
We'll take it.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys. Like, seriously, thank you for taking the time out. I know you guys have a busy schedule, especially with kickboxing training as well. We'll be cheering on for you guys for the next 2 games. And obviously the sporting computer couldn't have given you 2 tougher fixtures to finish the season with, but we definitely hope that you guys win.
Thank you. We hope we win as well.
We appreciate the support as well, and specifically for Mary, as she's coming into the first team group and training with us and stuff like that and playing. It's really
Well, hopefully we can do this again next year with you as a top flight team.
Yeah, definitely.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, guys, that's all we have time for on our Stars and Stripes and maple syrup. Again, thank you to the ladies for swinging by and having a chat with us.